So, hello guys, why synchronous motor is not self-starting? So first of all, synchronous motor is nothing but the synchronous generator. Also it can called as a alternator or also it can called as a AC generator. So why it is not a self-starting? Okay. So let's consider the stator poles, number of stator poles are 2. Okay. Then synchronous speed ns is equals to 120 f divided by p. F is nothing but the frequency, p is the number of poles. Okay. So if you put the values f frequency 50 hertz and poles 2, then we will get the 3000 rpm is the synchronous speed. Okay, that is in revolution per minute, but we want it in a revolution per second. So divided 3000 divided by 60, so that will get us 50 revolution per second. So that is 2, means that is very rapidly. Okay, rapidly it is that stator poles are rotating very rapidly, right? So initially the rotor is in arbitrary position. Yeah, so initially we are not connecting any prime mover to the rotor. So let's consider two instants. Okay, so first instant A and the second instant is B. So at a first instant, say suppose at the top we have a stator S1 pole. Okay, and the rotor is of permanent magnet. So rotor have, say suppose some uh, what S2 pole. Okay, so initially what happens, our rotating magnetic field of stator is rotating in a clockwise direction. So at that time S1 and S2, okay, S1 S2 repel each other. Okay, so torque on the rotor will be in the direction of, means in a clockwise direction. Okay, they exert a torque on a rotor in a clockwise direction, but suddenly and rapidly, as I told, the revolution per second of the stator field poles are 50 rps, revolution per second. Okay, so that's why that pole rotor, that stator pole changes into n1. Okay, so n1 and s2 of the rotor pole, they exert a anti-clockwise torque on the rotor, means and fraction of the time, in a fraction of the time, the rotor experiences a clockwise torque as well as anti-clockwise torque. So that makes rotor stationary and not rotating. Okay, so that's why we require some prime mover so that the rotor poles and the stator poles magnetically locked. Okay, so that's why synchronous motor is not self-starting motor.